Welcome for the first time to all you newcomers, and welcome back to everyone who's been here for a little while now. Today we have got yet another guide, and today it's going to be Darth Maul. And honestly, I've not been looking forward to this one because Maul is, I don't want to say garbage because he's not. He's still a pretty good villain. They just, whenever they nerfed him, they kind of messed him up a little bit, and there's some bugs that they introduced into the game, most likely on accident. I'm assuming they did it by accident, but they are not ever going to fix them because the game is in its final stage. But without further ado, I'm just going to get right into this video, and here we go for the first star card. So I guess we're starting with the best star card, Lightsaber Defense. It's quite honestly my number one, because who wouldn't want to have more, or I guess receive less damage, so more damage reduction from blasters at any point in the game. So that plus 16% damage reduction as far as blaster fire goes is a big help when playing as Maul. He isn't one of the lower health characters. I mean, definitely not the highest. He's not number one up there when it comes to full health bar. He starts off at 700, which is a solid little chunk, especially for the kind of character he is, a saber villain. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I really don't have much to say for that one. It's really just a self-explanatory card that you shouldn't really take off. Doesn't matter if you're playing trooper-based game modes such as Supremacy and Galactic Assault, or if you're playing Heroes versus Villains or Hero Showdown, just pretty much keep it on at all times. That's really all there is to that one. This next star card, Fool Me Once, is quite honestly just personal preference. I mean, if you enjoy having 10% faster recharge on your abilities, then go for it. If not, then it's not a big deal. This is one that I will occasionally switch out for other star cards, though. So this next one, Accelerated Throw, is one that I guess it's either top 2 or top 3. It's for sure top 3, but it gives you bonus damage on your lightsaber throw ability, and I think that's probably his number 2 ability because his spin attack ability is pretty much non-existent now. With over half the time you use that spin ability, it doesn't hit the opponents. You can go right through them, and sometimes it just will not damage them, period. It has gotten me killed many times as Maul, because instead of damaging an opponent and possibly eliminating them and getting that health back, I instead didn't damage them, ended up behind them so they could then shoot me because I wasn't facing them because I couldn't block them, and dying right there on the spot. It's quite a bummer, especially when that ability is supposed to work. But it is what it is. That is why this next part of the video, I'm pretty much just going to talk about the star cards you should stay away from, and there's only 2 of them. There's 2 star cards for Darth Maul where I say, just don't worry about it. Please do not select these star cards. Not for my sake, for your own sake. You are going to get fed up with this ability not working. You may not notice it at first, but after playing for just, I mean, I'd say a week, 2 weeks tops, a couple days even, you will notice that the spin attack, the one I just did right there, it does not always do the damage that it's supposed to do. Sometimes it will let you go right through an opponent and deal absolutely no damage. So the 2 star cards you want to stay away from are the ones that deal specifically with his spin attack. I think one of them gives you a 3rd spin attack, but it makes the recharge time for each of them longer. I don't recommend that one to begin with, even if his spin attack was working. And then the other one, I believe it allows the spin attack to do more damage, but the problem with that is if you do a spin attack and it's not doing any damage to begin with because it's not hitting the enemies, then that extra damage star card is going to absolute shit. It's a waste. There's no reason to have it on because that is a non-reliable attack. Now, in the clips that you're seeing right now, this is me playing with the mindset that spin attack is not working properly. So I use it when I have a ton of health to spare. Usually I'll only use it in like the 500 to 700 range. Anything like that, I mean really just anything above 450 I guess would be good, but just know what you're doing otherwise. If you don't have your choke ability, your choke hold, then maybe wait a second for that to recharge before you go and attack a room. So Naboo, the map I'm playing on now, it gets pretty tight and closed off, and then there's times where you can run around a corner and there will be a room full of clone troopers. If you know that there's a room like that around the corner and you don't have your lightsaber throw and chokehold ability ready for use, I would wait and let those recharge. It just makes it a lot easier to play as Maul, because these, even if you've got the spin attack one available, you don't want to go into a room relying on that. You see right there, I actually did damage the guy that I spun through, but then when I got to the ARC Trooper, I didn't deal any damage to him with my spin attack. It's so annoying. EA decided to pull the plug on Battlefront 2 and pulled all of DICE's funding, so there will be no more support. Now, I like DICE. I'm confident that had DICE continued getting the funding that it needed to work on this game, it could have become one of the greatest games ever, despite its bumpy start. Because DICE, they seem to work hard and fix the issues, but from launch this game had a lot of issues, and DICE pretty much spent 2 years just working to fix those, and they made a lot of progress. It's gone from a game that most people wouldn't even hop on because it was like a money grab at the very start, to a pretty common and popular PvP game. So kind of a shame that they're not gonna end up fixing that, but for sure stay away from that ability. I pretty much just use it as a method of transportation, because I haven't tested it, so I don't actually know if it's faster, but it seems like you get from point A to point B faster when you use your spin attack. Another thing you want to consider is, for some reason, Maul's blocking isn't the best. I actually get a pretty good clip of it right here when I start facing Yoda. Actually, it may be a little bit deeper in the fight. I think I fight him for a while here, but his blocking ability just doesn't always block. Sometimes you'll still get hit. Like right here, I'm blocking, and you see it actually, he struck me. it even made it look like I was going through a slashing animation where I was attacking him with my lightsaber, but I wasn't. I was just holding down that block button, and Yoda broke it. Right there, again, I was holding the block, and Yoda force pushed me through it. Now, I didn't go flying, so part of the block did still work, but I got damaged by it, which doesn't make any sense, because again, I was blocking. Other star cards you might want to look for, I'm not going to pop them up on the screen here just because I'll keep the clips going, are the chokehold ones. So the ones where if you chokehold 2 or more enemies, you deal bonus damage. That one can be good just because most of the time when I'm chokeholding enemies, I'm not ever chokeholding one unless it's a big enemy like an enforcer or an aerial or a Jedi hero like this. If I'm chokeholding an enemy and they're by themselves, it's usually just because I am off in a corner of the map that doesn't really matter. I'm by myself. I don't need any backup, but they don't have any backup either, so it's pretty much just a 1v1 kind of thing. In those situations, I might chokehold one person, but most of the time I try and save it to where there's at least 2, if not 3 people that I can chokehold just to get the most out of the ability. So my next thing is Darth Maul is very fast and very aggressive. So if you play kind of laid back, you can stick with your team. Just don't be so laid back to where you're not using Darth Maul to the best of your ability. So with spin attack in mind, you do need to play him a little bit different than you would have if you're maybe an OG player who's just now coming back to the game and finding Darth Maul in this absolute wrecked state that they have left him in. Definitely avoid the spin attack. I know I've said it several times already, but I can't stress enough how dog shit the ability has become. Go into situations with the mindset that you only have 2 abilities to use. Your lightsaber is absolutely awesome. His stamina when slicing through opponents is pretty good. He can slice for quite a while, but again, you want to use his 2 abilities, the saber throw and the chokehold, pretty, I guess, religiously. I mean, just use those like that's all you've got. Another thing about his movement is you'll see me jumping in the air and running forward and then slicing in midair. This actually works with a lot of different saber heroes and villains, where if you're running and you strike, you can get some additional height in your jump, and you also get a little bit of additional distance. It's not a big deal. You don't get a ton of it out of it, but anything that helps you move faster might be something that you want to give a try. I guess really the last thing I want to talk about Maul is he can lose health really fast. So if you don't have the star card that allows him blaster reduction, then you may want to think of a different approach for certain situations. So for example, right here I've got a couple clone troopers, nothing that I can't handle, but they're all kind of just spread out. So if I were to slash at one, I turn my back to another, and then I could take damage really fast. You saw it right there. I took quite a bit of damage just from that one clone trooper blasting me. You want to be careful of situations like that because it happens way more frequently than you would think. It's just something that, I don't know why, but Maul loses health really, really fast. And I kind of briefly touched up on it already, but his blocking doesn't always block everything. Sometimes people can break right through it, no problem, even if they don't have an ability that's designed to break through opponents' blocks. So keep that in mind for different situations. I guess the overall moral of Maul is avoid spin attack, stick with your team when you can, but also don't be afraid to get aggressive and get in opponents' faces because you regain health pretty quick. And is that it? That's got to be it. Yeah. If I left anything out, or if you can think of any other questions for me, please don't be afraid to drop them in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I possibly can. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.